we will explore how we can use NextAuth to implement sign up using a social media, and today we will be seeing how we can use GitHub to authorize our user. So just go to the NextAuth website and go to the documentation. Here you can see the command to install Next-Auth in our project. So go back to the terminal, do an npm install Next-Auth. It'll install in under 10 seconds. Okay, now that's done. What we have to do is just go through the documentation, and you can follow along of how I code. You don't need to follow the documentation. You can follow it all if you want to. It has a page for how to configure GitHub sign-on provider. So this is, as you can see, GitHub provider options. It has the code which you can directly copy paste if you want to implement authorization using a GitHub account. And here you can see the file that is already in our package since we installed Next-Auth. So go to GitHub, go to settings and go to developer settings, and we need a few things from here. Go to OAuth apps and click on register new application, and in the application name specify some name. You can give it next blog, and for homepage URL we need to give the URL. So let's do http localhost 3000 and authorization callback URL. So this is the URL that will be redirected to after auth. So let's give it something like api/auth/callback/github. Now we want the client ID and client secret. Okay, so copy the client ID and go to the .env file that we created earlier, and let's configure GitHub_ID is equal to the ID, and GitHub_secret will be, take the secret. Yep, just copy and paste it in the .env file, and you have the ID and secret, and you're good to go. Now go to lib and create a file called auth.js, and here we will configure the GitHub sign-on provider, right? NextAuth sign-on provider. So import NextAuth and import GitHub, not like this is wrong. Let me see the documentation, just a second. Import GitHub provider from nextauth/provider/github. This is there in the NextAuth documentation, and you can copy paste directly from that. And here you can do export, const, handlers, auth, sign in, and maybe sign out as well, because that is what we want to do in our app. And this will be equal to NextAuth and open parentheses. Let me see, and copy paste this snippet of code. So it is basically telling you the providers will be GitHub provider, and this will take up the client ID and client secret as parameters. So to test this out, let's go to the login page that we created in the first or second episode and create a form and a button, and let's give the text to the button, login using GitHub, and form action will be a method. So let's write our method over here inside login, handle GitHub login, and this will be equal to the form action. Okay, so const GitHub login will be async, and arrow function. Here we have to specify the use server, and here let us await sign in, and import sign in from auth.js that we created inside lib folder. And here you have to specify for which provider you want the option. So since we have configured GitHub, let us give GitHub as the argument. And I think that is good enough for us to test it. Couple more things we have to do. So go to API and create a folder called auth inside API. Inside auth, you need to create inside square brackets Next.js, since this will be a dynamic route. But Next.js will handle this automatically for us. We just need to for this video purpose, let's just export get and post from lib/auth. Okay, that is what we need here. And here in handlers, you have get and post. See, the autocomplete comes up and you can just do it. And let's test this out. So you can see the button, and if you click on here, you can see authorize next blog. It's redirecting you. And yep, that's it for this video. So in the next video, we will explore how you can save the user to the database once you authorize the user from GitHub and get the session of the user. So till then, take care and goodbye.